Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
So as you know, Tim and I are always eager to help promote crowdfunded films and chat with the creators. Tonight, we're really excited to speak to David A. Flores about his upcoming film, Pit Stop. So welcome to the show, David.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, no, our pleasure, our pleasure. Like I said, we love having filmmakers on, especially, that will go the crowdfunded route or the independent route, because that's always we find that's really like the work is involved, really, because you guys work twice as hard and do wear 5 times the hats in these things, so it's pretty exciting.
Yes. I mean, you've pretty much said it. I'm just going to agree with everything that you said, because this is my second I'll kind of back up a little bit and just say that we're currently crowdfunding for our next film, Pit Stop, which is a dystopian horror film about it's sort of set in this dystopian world, and it's about a prisoner and a guard who are stranded and out of gas, and they really struggle to understand each other and really just survive the night. But because it's set in this dystopian world, there's been a mysterious event called the Rift. And from that event, it has unleashed otherworldly monsters. And so our characters have an encounter with one of those monsters, which just, raises the stakes in terms of having them survive the night. So we're currently crowdfunding it. And just wanted to say that and say that this is our second crowdfunding effort. And I'm, tying it back to what you said about crowdfunding. The gist of it being is crowdfunding is so hard.
Yeah.
And it's hats off to anyone that has done crowdfunding, let alone gotten funded and had a successful crowdfunding campaign. I feel you. And, we're very lucky to say that we are funded. We got our goal of 100% funding last week. So
nice.
We are, grateful for that. But yes, just a long-winded way of saying that crowdfunding is very hard. So thank you again for doing this.
I was going to tell you, I forgot that you actually had just hit your goal, because I was going to say we have like a good record. I think everyone that's come on and crowdfunded has managed to hit their goal, which is
that's amazing.
Thing. So I don't know whether we're a good luck charm or we're just getting lucky with with good projects we're getting to talk about. But yeah, I want to go back a little. We'll get into more of the pit stop in a little bit, but kind of want to let our audience know, if you want to give a little bit of background to how you got into filmmaking. I always like to give that little origin story. When we have someone on. So
absolutely, yeah, and I'm sure most of the people you had have some version of this story. So if it's just me kind of spinning the wheels, please forgive me. But I think at the end of the day, very maybe stereotypical story in terms of I just love movies. I always loved movies. Some of my earliest memories of me as a kid was watching movies and becoming obsessed with movies. And I'm a kid of the 90s, so I still had VHS tapes, which I know is sort of making a weird comeback, but I would watch movies on repeat to the point where the VHS tape would break, and I would beg my parents to try to get another copy of 89 Batman or Jurassic Park or Empire Strikes Back. Those are the sort of movies that I just would watch on repeat. So for me, it wasn't really until high school, because again, just the context of I loved movies, always watched movies, was a fanatic about it. Wasn't until high school though that I realized I'd signed up for like a media productions class, like an AV class, and realized that I could make movies. And it was sort of this lightning bulb moment for me of being like, wow, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And went to college, went to the University of Arizona and did their film program and kind of just tried to follow the whole steps of like, okay, I'm going to film school. And then after film school, I'm going to move to LA and conquer Hollywood. And I moved out to LA when I was 24 and cut to almost 12 years later. Haven't quite conquered Hollywood in the way that 24-year-old me thought I would. But, at the end of the day, I still love movies. And for me, moving out to LA and having that experience of, working day job in the industry and really just trying that hustle and grind of surviving in LA. Eventually I came back to the point where I'm making movies now again, mainly because my wife and I, we just had a baby. He's 9 months old now, but we found out thank you so much. But when we found out the pregnancy news, I think that was a big, quarter life crisis moment for me of just being like, I moved out to LA to make movies. I haven't really made movies since my film school college days. I think I need to sort of a now or never thing that really kicked me into gear to whatever I got to do to like try to make a movie. And that's where, I went the crowdfunding route and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, you said oh well, I wanted to conquer Hollywood, but you know what though, you're already ahead of a lot of people. You're getting films out there, you're getting projects done, and I know some people still have the dream and they're at step one. At least So I mean, it always impresses me that anyone, because I mean, almost every fan of film want to make a film. They're like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah,
I could do that. And I don't. And the one thing I've learned, I mean, I know because I went to film school a little bit, when I was in college, but I knew it was just not going to be what I was, at that time. That was not where I was going to go. But I knew how hard it was. And now through the podcast, just talking to so many different creators and talent through the thing, I just hear so many times, how incredibly hard it is. And I don't think people realize until you can hear it a million times, but you really now I really see what some people, we had someone on where it was she was a director, it was her first feature and she was like directing, she wrote it, starring in it. She was even cooking and doing the craft services, so it's like, so that's why to me and Tim too, we feel the same way, that the indie route and the crowdfunding route, it just is so intriguing because you just see the effort and you see the passion that the filmmakers have for it. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, again, I'm hate to just kind of be a talking parrot and agree with everything that you're saying, but it's absolutely true. I mean, and I think to give myself a little bit of grace, yes, I've been in LA for almost 12 years, but LA is such a hard city to just survive in. And New York, LA or New York, pick one. Such hard cities to survive in, let alone thrive in, especially if you don't come from means. I'm Mexican American, first of my family to do anything, college, move out of my hometown. Certainly did not come from money. So, talk about bootstrapping and all that. That was very much me. So, and I'm still not a multimillionaire, or else I wouldn't be doing crowdfunding. I just would be making movies. So I would say the biggest, having now made a film with our last film, Likeness, and coming into Pit Stop, I'd say the biggest lesson that I've learned going through the process is just how expensive movies are, even on the level that we're doing, which is frankly like micro budget indie, short film level. But we're still trying to do it in a way that feels professional, where everybody is getting paid, maybe not a lot of money, but certainly not what they're worth, but everyone is getting paid in some capacity. And even then, it's like it costs thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. And for me, that's a lot of money. I would say for most people, that's a lot of money. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and one of the projects that we were familiar with, and Tim wanted me to also reiterate the fact because he couldn't be here to tell you how much he loved this one as much as I did, and that was that fantastic audio drama you did, Shell.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
And that was starring, of course, one of our good friends, our mutual friend, Emily Sweet, and
Yeah,
yeah, I
Emily's
mean
great.
that to me blew me away. I mean, I love the classic radio drama type of style thing like that, and we're obviously big podcast fans, so it was great to kind of hear that. But what I wanted to ask you, so how does the writing and directing process for an audio only project compare to the visual mediums?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned Shell. So yes, if you haven't listened to Shell, stop what you're doing right now. Type in Audio Flix, Audio Flix. Click episode 2. It's a little weird how they structured it, but episode 2 is Shell. It's a feature length audio drama, sort of a grounded sci-fi about a robot, a pregnant runaway teenager, and a dog, all sort of living in a cabin in the woods and becoming an unlikely family. So that's my little shameless plug on Shell. But yeah, to answer your question, the writing and directing for an audio only format was very different. I'd never done it before. I had to work a lot of different muscles in the writing brain that I didn't know existed. So initially, I'll kind of back up. I had written Shell as a screenplay, as a feature length script. And at the time, my manager had, we had gotten in contact with the production company that ultimately made the radio drama, Cavalry Media. And they had read the script and were like, we love the script. How about this? And they sort of pitched, why don't we make it a podcast first and sort of put it out to the market, see how it does. And then, I think with the ultimate hopes of then rolling it out into the feature script. And so ultimately, it happened. So I was game to do it. But one of the real challenges was then, okay, let's take this script and now adapt it into audio only. And, one of the things that I sort of realized is, for example, like if you're writing a screenplay and you're writing a montage, a visual montage, there's no way to do that in an audio only format,
Right.
Or you had to rethink like, okay, in this montage, I'm just using an example, like character, we're going to watch this character like get ready for bed. And, we're seeing brushing the teeth and getting ready for bed and putting their PJs on or whatever. Like you can't say that in an audio, in an audio only format. So there was a lot of things like that where I had to rework things or insert things that I felt would be interesting in an audio only format. Since you listen to Shell, you might recall there's sections throughout where we kind of cut to different voicemails, where people are calling our lead character Taylor's phone and we're hearing the various voice messages. That wasn't in the feature script. That was something that I developed specifically for the audio format for a couple of reasons. One was just, how do we get more story out of this? How can we like hint at character backstory, hint at, bigger things in the world? And then also I just thought it would be, a cool way to sort of break up the, not monotony, but just the rhythm that we have going in an audio drama. So
yeah, no, and it was, I think I'm pretty sure we mentioned it right after we both heard it too, how good it was. And I mean, this is a testament to probably you as not only you as a writer and a director and Emily as an actor, but the scenes when she's in the woods, you really managed to capture the harrowing nature of what was going through at the time. And, and to capture that in an audio format only is extremely impressive because usually a visual, you can cheat with little visuals. Sometimes you can make something dark, make something spookier, but when you have to do it just by the audio, I mean, it was great. I mean, that's something you just want to like pop in your headphones and just sit back and like listen, and it's just fantastic. So it's like I just wanted to make sure we made sure to tell you how impressed we were with it.
Thank you. And I would love to take all the credit for it, but at the end of the day, I think Spielberg I'm probably completely butchering it, but or maybe I'm making it up. I don't know. But there's a phrase that he said one time where, you know, the gist of it was like, you know, someone asked him, Mr. Spielberg, like, why are you so awesome at what you do or whatever? And he's basically is like, the secret is I just hire people who are a lot smarter than me to do their jobs, and they you know, and it's true at the end of the day. You know, yes, I was able to. We were able to find an awesome cast, and you know, Emily. You know, we love Emily Sweet. She was a rock star in that role. But really, especially for the audio format, I have to give a shout out because most people kind of forget these people, to our sound designer, Jeff Schmidt, who's a complete rock star in the audio drama podcast world. We were very lucky to get him to come in and be the sound mixer and sound designer. And so everything that you're hearing in Shell when you listen to it, like that is all Jeff and his audio wizardry, because if it was me behind the wheel, it would sound like a complete clown show. I promise you that. So
yeah, well, I definitely think everyone needs to check this out. You know, because it you know, I know we're a film podcast, of course, but you know, that is some that is good as many horror films as I've actually watched, as good as it is on audio. So
thank you.
Before we're going to get into Pit Stop in a second, but I want to find out about likeness too, because I guess that was what you just did before this one, and that's, I guess, touring the festival circuit. So I want to give you a chance to discuss that, so people can go, you know, try and track that one down.
Yes. So yeah, it's, as you said, it is going through the 2023 film festival circuit right now, so it's not publicly available, unfortunately. But you know, we do have a trailer. So if you were to follow my socials, or anything like that, you can, you know, check out our trailer. But yes, likeness is essentially my first crowdfunding effort. We did it last year. We were a successful campaign. We filmed it a month before my baby was due, and we were in post while my baby was you know, a newborn. So I was doing a lot of 3 a.m. Watching of cuts and emails and stuff like that. But
so you basically never slept for like 2 months straight, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So so if and when you watch Likeness, if you absolutely hate it, just know that I approved it under sleep deprivation and you know, all that. But no, it's another grounded sci-fi. Well, I like to call it more of a drama, but it's about a young woman who works with a digital copy of her mom to investigate the sudden disappearance of her real mom. So it does sort of have this Black Mirror AI.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's very Black Mirror-ish. That sounds cool.
Yeah. And our lead character, the young woman, is, you know, kind of doing a quasi-investigative journalist thing and working with this AI version of her mom to sort of figure out what happened. And so, you know, I'm biased, but I think we made a really great movie. And I think, you know, we certainly honored what our backers gave us, you know, because we funded the campaign and we made the movie within a year. And now it's going through the film festival circuit. And it's actually going to have its world premiere later this month at the Arizona Film Festival in Tucson, Arizona, which is actually my hometown. So
nice.
It's kind of through sheer circumstance and not circumstance, sheer, you know, coincidence. We're going to have a hometown film fest. So that will be really cool, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, yeah.
But kind of like, you know, you get your hometown and you're, you know, here you are, like, you know, you're presenting this film to the world. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be, I think it's going to be really special, you know, and I think, look, we're super excited about all the film festivals that we've submitted to, and we hope that we get into more. But I think it's safe to say that none of the other festivals are going to have this type of experience, because I'm pretty sure we'll be able to fill that place up with like family and friends. And
oh, that's awesome.
will be sort of a homecoming of sorts for me as a filmmaker to like go back to my hometown and be like, this is something that I made. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so now we'll get into the topic at hand, which I know we're really excited to find out about. So I want to hear, I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but if you want to go into a little more detail of what you can so far, and let everyone know about what Pit Stop is all about.
Yes. So yeah, sorry, I probably pulled the trigger a little bit earlier
okay.
in the episode, but I'll try to go through it again. So Pit Stop is our next film. It's actually starring Emily Sweet, who we've been talking about, who was starred in Shell, and Mary Rose Brannick, who was our lead actress in Likeness. So essentially what I am doing is I'm creating any type of, I don't know, David Flores cinematic universe or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's interesting. It's like almost like the Tarantino group coming in there.
Yeah. Like I have identified actors who are awesome and so good at what they do, and thankfully still want to work with me and trying to make another movie. So this one is different than the others that I've made. This one is a little more of a straight, kind of more of a straight horror film, but it's still sort of set in this dystopian world. Pit Stop is about two women, a prisoner and a guard, who are stranded off the side of the road and out of gas. And as they wait for backup to come and get them, they basically have to survive the night, personality-wise, as well as a monster encounter that they will have. Because again, this world is set in a world where, or our story is set in a world where a mysterious event has happened. We don't really go into details on what it is, but from this event, otherworldly monsters have been unleashed. So there is that, extra element to it. So we're very excited about it, and we are currently, as of right now, we have 6 days left in our crowdfunding campaign. Probably by the time you hear this, it'll be a couple days left in the campaign.
We'll try and get this out right away, so the fast as possible. Hopefully, might even be by tomorrow. We might be able to get this out.
Great.
Once I send it to Tim, it might be later in the day than normal, but at latest, I think we would get it out would be Friday. So, but we'll try and get it out in enough time that people can still contribute if they want. So
perfect. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, we are. Last time I checked, we are 107% funded, which is so crazy. We have over 100 backers, which is great. So we went into this campaign. I went into this campaign. Not sure if we would have another successful run at crowdfunding. I was really expecting the worst. And so the fact that we are coming into our last week fully funded, and it is great. And we do have some stretch goals, so it would be great to try to hit at least one of those goals. But really at this point, it's kind of cherry on the top. Whatever if people like what they see, anything more than $0 like really does help, because as we were saying earlier in the episode, movies are expensive. So.
Yeah, and then just the premise sounds fascinating, because when you already have when there's two characters that are going to have a conflict within the realm of the movie. This one is kind of, I like it because it sounds like it's already, they have the base conflict already there, and by being prisoner and guard, which there's always the opposite ends of the spectrum there with that, and then now they have to come together, and I love movies that do that when they take two unlikely people that need to come together to see how they do it, because it's like everything goes on, especially in today's climate, people are on both sides of everything, and but sometimes you just have to work together and find a way to survive, essentially. And this is almost like a little like microcosm of that. So it sounds really exciting.
Absolutely. No, thank you for saying that. And actually, like our tagline is that it's a dystopian horror about finding the human in us all, and that's kind of it. I really wanted. Very similar to you, like I'm really interested in conflict, right? And like if we can take two characters that right off the bat like hate each other's guts just because of which team they're on, essentially, like which side they're on. That to me really piqued my interest. And I think having the two actors, the two actresses that we have, really, it's going to be awesome to watch them go at it. You know, and that's kind of it at the end of the day. Like anything that I do, I tend to exist more in the genre space, so you know, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, or whatever. But I think that's more the get people's attention thing, because really, at the end of the day, anything that I create, I'm doing character-based stories first, and so the meat and potatoes of the story are characters interacting with each other, trying to get to know each other, or you know, trying to survive one another.
Yeah, but that's important because you know, in so many horror movies, you know, the so much a common trope is that, you know, like, you know, in a slasher, right? You just have this whole bevy of disposable characters, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, for a horror movie, it must be a challenge, but it's also a great thing to see when you have characters that you really want to invest in and you care about. And this, you know, so when it is character driven, you know, it almost like brings you into the movie at a just this whole other level initially. And it's so I like when I hear stuff like that, because it's, you know, it's good that you're not just making, you know, putting out there for something without any kind of substance in there to get, you know, you got the characters, you got now, you know, already now just by the plot point, that's, you got that interest, you got the hook. So yeah, that's really great.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're excited to do it, you know, and again, I think it's going to be a testament to our actors and our crew, you know, because we're again, talking about whatever the David Flores cinematic universe or whatever. I'm pulling people from previous projects that I've already worked on. So you know, people that have worked on Likeness or people that have worked on Shell, thankfully are rolling back into this project, and I'm just, yeah, I can't wait to get on set and start shooting it.
That's awesome. So here's a little fun question. We like to throw these fun questions in there every now and
Yeah.
then. So if money was unlimited and you could have any cast you want at your disposal and all the means you could possibly need, what project would you create?
Oof.
I know it's a tough one. I promise you no tough questions, but this ends up being a tough one
Yeah.
at some level because
No,
it's probably so many things you want to say. But
oh my gosh. Good. Okay, I'll add an extra layer. Could I have a time machine?
Yeah. So in this question, it's pretty much anything. It's pretty much like one of those empty sandboxes with
okay,
in a sim game. You can do whatever you want.
Got it. Yeah, this might be a little off brand than what I've been talking about, but let's say if I had a time machine, money was no object, and I could have the cast and you know, make any movie that I want, I think I would love to go back to, you know, the 90s, let's say like mid 90s, 1993, 1994, and make like one more Indiana Jones movie, like just slot it in, like Indiana 4 would have happened in the mid 90s, just one more with like 40 whatever something year old Harrison Ford. I know now we're just, you know, we're getting the new Indiana Jones and he's like 80 years old. But I don't know. I just would have loved I would have loved to have had those movies continued like every couple years. Just because, you know, I'm a huge fan. So
oh yeah, no, I don't blame you. See, that's a great answer, because that's like that, I'd be on board too. So if I can make it happen, I can find a time machine, I'll send it your way, and then then we can go from there.
Because it seemed like from my research on it at that time, it seemed like a big reason why it didn't happen was more Spielberg and Lucas. Really more Lucas. It seemed like he was like, no, I want to go off and just make THX sound system. Like, I don't really want to do another Indiana Jones movie. So, you know, I would love to be like, well, I'll slot myself in. Like, I'll make Indy 4 that will come out in 1995. Like, let's do that. So.
Yeah, well, it was funny. Tim always had he's probably gonna be mad because if this gets taken, but we were just joking when there was these where the rumor like Chris Pratt was gonna take over or so there was gonna be a
yes.
different, younger version of Indiana Jones and Destroy. He had come up with the story that he thought it would be cool that if the movie would start off with Harrison Ford still in it, and he'd be searching for the Fountain of Youth, and he finds it, and then now you
Yeah.
take over
Okay.
with the younger version.
Yeah.
And like
I could see that.
yeah, and I said, let's see, that's the way to do it because everyone you can't replace Harrison Ford, as Indiana Jones really,
Yeah.
and then unless you got a kind of gimmicky thing. But well, now we become the Indiana Jones podcast. But we're
I know that's what
always,
I said. It was.
Yeah, we veer off. You heard if you listen to some of our episodes. I mean, we've gotten somehow the Rocky franchise gets thrown into almost every episode somehow. So it's
Sure.
everything's on the table. But
yeah, I could see that.
But anyway, I want to be respectful of your time, so I want to wrap things up. But if you want to just let our listeners know where they can find all the Kickstarters and all the information on either where to track a likeness to go see it at the festival, and then of course the Kickstarter site that they can go and contribute and follow Pit Stop.
Yeah, so it should be. I mean, if you just go under Kickstarter.com
Yeah,
and search for Pit Stop, 2 words. That's PIT space STOP, Pit Stop. It should be the only pit stop I think on there. Last time I checked, it was. But if not, it has a picture of like a junker car in the desert. It has my name on it. So yeah, check out Pit Stop on Kickstarter. Again, we're 107% funded as of this recording. We are trying to hit some stretch goals. So if you like what you see, please kick in whatever you can. And again, we've had several contributions or contributors that kicked in $5, $1. Like it really doesn't, because I've gotten that before too, where it's like, oh, money's tight, I don't really have much to give. Truly, anything more than $0 really does help the campaign. So
yeah. I always try and donate like to these, and I, sometimes I'm at the base level just because I usually try and go up to if there's like a Blu-ray release or something, but
for sure,
depending on what, what's going on time, I always try and contribute a little bit because I know anything could help. I mean, if it's literally if $5 buys us prop that you needed, I mean, that makes
absolutely
makes something. Yeah. So yeah. And everything, like you said, it's movies are expensive. So anything that's like you said, not zero has got to help. That's just the rules of currency.
Absolutely. Well, making movies is expensive, and then making movies in LA or New York is expensive. So yes, it is what it is. Yeah. So again, Kickstarter.com. Check out Pit Stop. Appreciate whatever you guys can give.
Yeah, and I will make sure that we when we put this episode out in the show notes, we'll put the link to it. So I've of course checked it out, and it's great. You got the cast come on and give a little the videos and everything, which is really cool. So you get a kind of a feeling, and you can already kind of see the passion in just that site. That this is something that there's going to be whatever people think about how hard it is, you can at least see from the video and for your site how much dedication they're already putting in, and that they know their money is just not going to go into to nothing,
No, yeah. Well, first off, thank you for that. And if I could help sell myself and the team a little more, we've already done it. We did it last year. We were able to raise a crowdfunding campaign last year. And we made the movie, and it's currently going through the film festival circuit. And we did that, kind of within a year. So we have a good rhythm going. So I mean, no one has a crystal ball, and making movies is hard, but I feel very confident in us and the team, and we're all really excited to do it. So all signs point to that we will be able to make this movie with the budget that we've set. And it's still indie. It's a micro budget film. So we're going to have to work with what we have. But our goal is to make the most exciting, thrilling movie that we can with what we got. So.
Well, it really is the budget. You know, if you have a good script and you got a good team and you got a good crew and you have all the passion there, it always finds a way to become good. You know, the budgets are great and everything, but it really is the effort involved. And I know based on just some of the projects that I've seen you work on already and that I've got to listen or see, I know it's there. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm sure most of our listeners are too, as just
Thank
by
you.
discussing this, and you know, I'm sure they're getting their appetites wet to see this movie. So yeah, so thank you so much for coming on. It was great talking to you.
Thank
I
you.
knew what Emily was raving about you, so we're like, well, tell him to come on, because you know what? Listen, if we can get you like an extra $50 or something, even, you know, through a
No,
couple
absolutely.
donations, you know what? That, you know, we always love to help and whatever we can do. So
Appreciate it so much. Yeah, no, that's again, thank you guys so much for your time. It's been great talking with you. And it's always great to just meet like fellow movie, fanatics and horror buffs. So thank
yeah,
you guys
no,
so much.
yeah, oh no, we love it. We love chatting with filmmakers all the time. So this is great. It's been great talking with you, and hopefully this is just the first of many times. Every time you got something on that you need to help get the word out, you know what? You just say the word.
I appreciate it. No, I will definitely take you up on that.
All right, thanks a lot, David.
Thank you.